father of the bride has finished his speech, roughly 30 or 40 minutes into the proceedings. We will hand over to Thomas Powell. He will entertain us. He will entertain us for perhaps the first time ever. I'm told his speech is brief. And then he's asked me to speak for the next couple of hours or so. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I will present you the father of the bride.
What a real pleasure it is to welcome you all, and thank you for coming. I know many of you've all made long journeys down here, so it's good to know that you can consider this lovely couple. And I've got stuff. So, just to mention also perhaps for absent friends, loved ones, some of whom sadly no longer with us, but nevertheless in our thoughts as ever. And a big thank you to Sue, Tom's mum. And generosity in helping put the place together. And a big thank you also for everyone at the village hall, Chisholm, yeah, yesterday. You know, for all their help and the bravery as well.
Right outside.
You know, we couldn't be more delighted to welcome some.
Really?
Well, and like my other son-in-law over there, Rob, he's a wonderful father. He's a wonderful father to all our grandchildren. For our children, just to be happy, like, and I'm sure if it's on, it will be just that, and hopefully, if God willing, for many years to come. That's the drum. And she was a wonderful lady, you know, lovely, and a lovely child as well. And, even her teenage years, you know, they could have been worse. I'm not sure now. There's one sort of incident. It kind of haunts me still. On the first car, she bought a Fiat Uno. And she rode it off like 20 minutes after. And, I was with her in the car at the time. And she's telling me to relax. I know what I'm doing. She says, you know, I've passed my test. What she was doing is putting her foot on the accelerator, thinking it was the brake. So what a little Fiat Uno was doing was launching into a brick wall. Anyway, police arrived. Breathalyzer out. You know. For me, you know, breathalyzing, describing the works they wanted to put on. I said, "Don't need this." Oh, they said, young fella, your system, you want to get back in it straight away. Behind the wheel, drive off, you know, before you lose your nerve. Fiat only had 3 wheels at the time. So they were functions. He didn't give up. He didn't give up. He asked him for a phone number. Just I've not.
You did actually follow us up. You were a phone call to see how she
But the best advice I could muster regarding speeches, making private right speeches, was my old, well, one of my football heroes was Bill Nicholson. He was the old, he was the old Spurs manager back in the day. Way back. But his advice on making speeches was be sincere, be brief, and see. So could I ask all you to raise your glasses?
Jane and Tom.
Thank you very much to the father of the bride. Now, the next speech that's due to take place is the groom, Mr. Thomas Powell. But as many of you know, he's very rarely got anything much to say for himself. Would you like to hear from him, or should we just move on? No one wants to hear from you. I'm sorry. Do you want to say something? No, he doesn't want to say anything. Come on then. No, nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thomas Powell, the group.
My wife and I. I'd just like to begin by saying how beautiful Jane looks today.
So far, so good.
Absolutely stunning. She's been stressed about the dress and whether I'd like it or not. And of course, you look absolutely breathtaking, as you did when you walked down the aisle, so you don't have to worry about that. She wasn't. The vicar alluded to the first time that we met, and on our first date I did, and it's true, I walked into work the next day and said, I've met the woman I'm going to marry. It was the barmaid. And I did, I said that. And Jane then consequently did go out with me, dumped me, went out with me, dumped me 7 times, thanks for that. But I always said to my friends that I would marry someone who made me laugh, and Jane makes me laugh more than anyone else. And even to this day, we still laugh more together than we do with anyone else. And that's why I knew I was going to marry her. They also say that you should marry someone better than yourself, and Jane is. She's kinder, she's funnier, she's smarter. Better looking. And she is better than me in every way. Except there is one notable exception. After 7 years of bitter experience, I suggest that anyone who goes driving with someone who's giving instructions that doesn't know their left from their right. So if you are approaching a roundabout and you say, "Which way are we going?" and the response is, "Your way." And if you ask again for clarification, is it the first, second, third? Your way! Obviously, that's the way to go. We've not argued about that ever. But yes, Jane, I knew she was going to be the woman I was going to marry, and finally we're here after buying a house and having kids, and I'm so glad. So I would like you to raise your glasses to my beautiful, patient, lovely wife. I'd just like to say, Jane. Right, we do have a few thank yous. Firstly to our kids who've been really helpful today. They've been the ring bearer and stuff. And we've got a couple of presents. Hattie, do you want to come get your present? And there's a present for you. I'd like to thank both sets of parents, Joe and John and my mum Sue. We couldn't have done this today without them. They've been so supportive. And thank you, Joe and John, for taking me to your family. It's been lovely getting to know you and Alana and Rob and Jamie and Brendan. It's been really special today to see all of you together with my family, now that we're finally married. And thank you. To my mum, for the first 25 years, I'm so sorry. I can't put it any better than that. All right. There's quite a lot to go through, and Dan probably will. So I'm just apologising now for all of that. But the common thread for all our families is that for all our parents, you are kind and patient and supportive, and that's why all your children love you very much, and that's why we're so pleased to have you here today. So thank you. I'd also like to thank bridesmaids, all of whom were lovely. I'm told that on the hen party they all went to bed at 8 o'clock, and no one got so drunk they couldn't find the way to open a door. Don't know if that happened, probably not. So this is thank yous for being, for organising that and being part of today. Thank you very much indeed. Just a very quick thank you to Simon, who's sitting here. He's the chauffeur for today, and it's his car that we've been very excited today. And Bev, the fantastic chocolates that you all have, the just a couple more things. This is not the only wedding this week of the Powell family. My brother Mark and Jane are also getting married on Tuesday. They're vegetarians, don't get excited. Not this much. Yes, they're finally doing it after 20 odd years. And that's also very exciting. So could you all please raise your glass for another toast to Mark and Jane? Okay, this is a difficult bit. There is one person who's not here, and that's my dad, our dad. And if he were here, what I would say is, Jane, that he would absolutely love you very much.
Yes, he would. Yeah.
He would be very fond of you, and you would make him laugh. And if he were also here, I would tell him how very proud of him I am. And if I was ever half the father he was, then I'd be doing okay. He was very kind and hard-working, like a lot of dads, and I wish he were here to see us the day. So, could you raise your glasses for my dad, Will?
Well.
Right. Okay. Finally, I'm supposed to say thank you for my best men. The three of them. What you don't know about is my care in the community. No one really. I don't talk about it. It's something that the three of them share. It's quite a sad psychological defect. I mean, what happens is they make stuff up. It's very sad. They reflect on things that they think happened. They never did. They never did. It's all three of them share it. It's a tragedy, really. Even now, Dan is smiling, thinking, "I'm going to tell this story, and it definitely happened." So, could you be very kind and laugh along? Clap on your space to pretend you think it's real, and that'll be fine. Can I just thank my three best men, and I will pass you over to one of them is Dan.
Thomas, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was, ladies and gentlemen, that was beautiful. Or should I say, that was really beautiful. It was really very, very beautiful, Tom. What a warm up. Ladies and gentlemen, what a warm up. What a warm up. I would just point out, like Thomas, I am also standing up. Kentish men are bred for looks, not height. Tom, what a privilege it is for me to be standing here as best man at your wedding. I've never been a best man before, in my 40s, I know it's hard to believe, in my 40s, to be experiencing a new feeling, a new emotion, Tom, that I've never felt before. It's really, really very exciting. I mean, it takes me back to my own wedding day, Tom, when you made that speech. 14th of July, 2001. What a lovely day that was. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. Barely a moment of embarrassment did I feel. And I look back to that and, all these years later, we've both been looking for something, I think. You over 14 years, you've been looking to find love, to find contentment, to find the perfect woman. And Tom, I've been looking for revenge. and here it is, a new emotion I haven't felt before. It's a special moment. I think the next few minutes are going to be special for us both, Tom. Now, Thomas, as I remember it, you were so nervous before you made your best man speech that you actually couldn't eat, could you? You sat through the starters, you sort of pushed it around the plate, you couldn't eat at all. That hasn't happened to me, I ate really well. But interestingly enough, it did make me think about your table manners back when we first knew each other. We were about 13 years old, and we had like a lot of schools, we had a sort of canteen system where you would get your food on your tray and you'd carry it over to the table. And Tom developed a very endearing habit where he would put down his tray, put down his food, and he would go like this, very publicly in front of us all. And spit all over his food. And this, you see, was because he knew that if he spat on his food in public like that, none of us would steal his chips. And perhaps what might tell you the most about our school days was that this only actually worked for about 2 or 3 days, and after that, he would spit on his food and we would steal his chips anyway. Sometimes I kind of miss that flavour, Tom. It was good. And this led Tom to get the schoolboy nickname Tommy Spitter, and then that developed into Tommy Titter. Do you remember Tommy Titter? No, not what you're thinking. This was no sort of particular interest in the female form. Tommy Titter was because Tom had this sort of peculiar teenage laugh. Sort of so that was sort of Tommy Titter, wasn't it? Then we had Tommy Topspin. Because Tom, unlike the rest of us who were sort of football and rugby and cricket sort of guys, no, it was all tennis for you, wasn't it, Tommy? Eh? Tennis. Tommy Topspin. Oh yes, there he was with the old forehand and the backhand, and that's where we got your next nickname from, wasn't it? Purcell. Do you remember that one, Purcell? Because Tom was the only boy in the whole school whose legs were whiter than his tennis clothes. So Purcell. And one thing I never quite understood with you and tennis though, Tom, was that you seem to love the sport, and yet it's not the easiest one to count, is it? There's 15, 30, 40, yeah. And I never quite understood how you got to grips with the old counting methods of tennis, because as I remember it, Tom, maths and counting was not your strongest suit. In fact, what some of you may not know here is that Tom actually passed his maths GCSE at the 7th attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, I suspect that there are many people in this room who don't even have as many GCSEs as Tom has attempts at taking maths. I never realised, Tom, I never actually realised until the vicar made his speech in the church that Jane had actually dumped you 6 times, and it was only at the 7th attempt that you finally won her heart. There is something about this persistence, isn't there? Jane, I could have told you, if I told you about his GCSE maths, I could have told you, this is a man who will look failure in the face and will not take no for an answer. Jen, I would say it's probably best going forward that you take responsibility for the family finances. But I do admire that persistence, Tom. I really do.